Are you ready for the best in Sooner football recruiting news? Then it's time to get locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Oh, yeah, the boys are back. Grayson Singleton. You still full on Cajun food?
Let me tell you something, man. That food down there in the Big Easy this weekend was solid, man. Even got to make some good food, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Gumbo? You
Yeah.
did gumbo?
No, we did. Let's see. Emily booked us a class. We did chicken andouille sauce. Chicken andouille jambalaya.
Okay.
Jambalaya. Yeah.
I can dig a little jambalaya.
It was good. The gumbo was solid. The beignets were solid. It was a solid weekend out there, man.
Man. I hate the state of Louisiana, to be clear.
Do you really?
Gosh, every time I'm Louisiana, it is against my will, I feel like. If I am in the state of Louisiana, it's for some occupational reason. But let me tell you, I never eat better than I do in the state of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
It is the great conundrum, the great paradox, if you will. The state of Louisiana is not a great place, but they do have some incredible food. And in a certain sense, that makes it worth it to just hold my nose and make the trek into the boot.
Okay, so where we stayed, we were in the French Quarter. We were about a block over from Bourbon Street.
Gotcha.
There were spots that did not smell very appealing. I found it, at least for the 3 days I was there. I did find that to be a little overblown, though.
Really?
Like, there were spots where it didn't smell great, but by and large, I didn't really notice anything. I didn't notice it that much. Now, I will say, New Orleans is one of the few places that I visited that I would not live.
Yeah.
Like, I would live in New York. I would live in New York. I would live in Boston. I would live in Phoenix, Arizona. I would live there. New Orleans is probably the one place that I've visited so far that I would not live. 3 days in New Orleans is good enough. And Bourbon Street, have you ever done Bourbon Street?
I've done Bourbon Street.
You've done Bourbon Street at 1 a.m.?
Not at 1 a.m. Heck no. I don't want any part of that.
It was something. I'm not gonna lie. It was fun though. I'll tell you that.
It's good. So we're giving the New Orleans experience a solid, 7, 8 out of 10?
7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
It was hot and muggy, as to be expected, but the food was solid, and I will say, friendly waiters. Very friendly waiters.
Love to hear it. I'm glad we're back in the saddle because we've only done like 2 shows together over the last 2 weeks. So we got a lot to catch up on. There was a lot that happened while you were gone, man.
Yeah, I was texting you about some of it.
And obviously we tackled a lot of it earlier in the week. Oklahoma made the decision to part ways with Damari DeZern, longtime wide receiver commit from the state of California. They lost Trayvon Hall, who flipped to Ole Miss over the weekend. In the span of 24 hours, not even, in the span of about 8 hours, Oklahoma's class went from full at 3 wide receiver commits to, well, Graydon Howell's the only guy, and there's quite a bit of work left to be done. And Oklahoma is doing that work, which we will discuss in just a second. But, yeah, it has been a busy few days in the world of Oklahoma football recruiting. If you have questions about any of it, you have anything that you would like us to discuss, debrief, hit us up on the First Liberty Bank text line, 405-651-3439. The show is brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno, family-owned and operated. Many of Dorsey Jones' employees have been with the company for 20-plus years. Incredibly experienced, passionate folks that are eager to assist you before, during, and after the buying process as they get you behind the wheel of a brand new GMC, which, of course, offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today. Santa John on the text line says, my sister is one of the top real estate agents in NOLA. I can hook you up, Grayson.
Well, if I ever change my mind and want to live in New Orleans or get a job out there that requires me to do such, I will hit up Santa John.
New Orleans is also certainly a place that I would not ever choose to live. nor is anywhere in the state of Louisiana, for that matter.
So you just hate
But
the whole state of Louisiana.
the whole state of Louisiana is just, ugh.
Do you like Mississippi any better?
Not really.
Okay. All right.
If you're driving through the American South, and I've, for a variety of reasons, have made the drive many, many times from Texas on into Louisiana, through Mississippi, out to Alabama, even to Georgia, or all the way to Florida. But when you are driving through the American South, at least when I do it at this point, I am trying to get through Louisiana and Mississippi as fast as possible. Stuff starts shaking when you get to Alabama. Like you get to Alabama, everything's cool.
Sure.
I can dig it in Alabama. Alabama is not a bad state. Not a whole lot going in Louisiana or Mississippi, at least not a whole lot that floats my boat, if you will.
Fair enough.
Camp season is a wrap at Oklahoma. The Sooners wrapped up their 4th of 4 elite camps yesterday evening. And we did see Oklahoma extend a brand new offer at wide receiver in reaction to the DeJean and Hall flips over the weekend. So, we'd mentioned him in previous weeks and months as a name to know because Oklahoma had been monitoring him for some time, hosted him at the spring game for an unofficial visit, although they had not yet offered. But they brought Milan Green to campus yesterday. Milan Green out of Cardinal Ritter College Preparatory School in St. Louis, Missouri. 5'10", 176 pounds. And the camp performance that he turned in, Mr. Singleton, was fantastic. It earned him an offer and an invite back to town for an official visit this weekend. And I would say within the next week, it is an overwhelming likelihood that Milan Green is a member of Oklahoma's 2027 class.
You know what's funny is when I was watching the film about 15 minutes ago, he seems very Trayvon Hall adjacent in a way. So you lose a guy of that archetype, and I think you get another one there. Fast, twitchy dude with a ton of wiggle to him. And, the size can be deceptive a little bit because he is 5'11", about 170 pounds, but he's a very nicely built 175 pounds or whatever he is at this particular moment in time.
Eyeballing him, I would say he's in the 180, 185 neighborhood. He's pretty bulked up.
Okay,
which is good.
So he's bulked up since the last thing that is listed on Rivals. So that's good. That's good to know. But he is a nicely built kid with a lot of run after the catch type of juice, man. So you were looking at that being the kind of skill set you got with Trayvon Hall. I think you get a similar type of dude in Milan Green. The recruiting services, at least Rivals, hasn't gotten around to rating him, I believe. But Parker, if I had to wager, looks like a high 3-star type of dude.
Yeah.
That Oklahoma could potentially add to the class.
And so here's the thing with Milan Green. Here's why it's kind of tough to gauge just exactly what he's capable of at the next level and why the offer sheet is so scant right now. He's got Arkansas State, Northern Illinois, Missouri State, Nebraska. I think that's it.
Sounds about right.
It's a very sparse offer sheet outside of Oklahoma. The reason why is because he did not play varsity football as a junior. So the tape you're watching is sophomore tape.
Correct.
He transferred schools, and in Missouri, if you transfer schools, you have to sit out a year. Old school, but I kind of like that. Kind of like that that's the way that Missouri does it. He did not play varsity football for Cardinal Ritter as a junior, and as such, he was a guy that a lot of P4 schools just kind of forgot about. He was on a bunch of radars going into his junior year, but then when you're not putting up tape and other guys are, well, there are schools that are going to start to look the other direction. And this is the benefit, Grayson, of having a front office that is as well staffed and as good at their jobs as individuals as Oklahoma's is. Because a guy like Milan Green is not going to slip through the cracks at a place like Oklahoma. They're not going to forget that a guy like Milan Green exists. And so they kept an eye on him. They continued to monitor him. He was really, really good by all accounts in several off-season showcases against regionally elite competition. And so that was kind of the onus behind the Nebraska offer, and you saw some of those G5 schools get involved, even though he hasn't played a down in varsity football since his sophomore year. And Oklahoma, after losing to Zern and Hall, hit up Milan Green and said, hey, do you want to come try to earn this offer on Tuesday? And he made a beeline for Norman, America. And he showed up, and he dang well earned that offer.
Tell us this. What was the best part of his performance? What really blew the staff away and projected them to give him that offer?
Yeah, I think it was just the ability to run the whole route tree. Like, when he, in one-on-ones, he ran just about every route that there is to run and won on just about every single one of those routes. The short stuff, the intermediates, the deep ball. Really, really shifty, good footwork, strong hands. The size, again, 5'10", call it 180. Not going to blow anybody away with that type of stature, but, it happens all the time. It happened yesterday after Oklahoma offered Milan Green and booked his OV. Saw this all over the message board at Soonerscoop.com, and I kind of had to check it a little bit because everybody was like, well, why are we recruiting a 5'10" kid? Why don't we recruit more big receivers? What good is this guy? I don't know why this misconception persists, but there is by no means a dearth of size in Oklahoma's wide receiver room. I think some people are still mentally stuck in 2024.
Yes.
When Oklahoma was still rolling Brennan Thompson and Zion Reagans out there at wide receiver. As of right now, Oklahoma is rostering no fewer than 7 wide receivers who are at least 6'3". 7. Ivan Carrion, Parker Livingston, Jermichael Carter, Jaden Petit, Daniel Odom, Xavier Okafaleze, and Manny Choice. 7. Oklahoma's not in a position where they need to prioritize size at wide receiver. What they need to do is continue to build out a room that has a multiplicity of different guys that do different things well and complement each other, and that you can create a bunch of varying looks with. And when you think about who you're losing at season's end, which of these guys are graduating? Well, Isaiah Satania and Trell Harris.
Both of whom are sub 6 feet.
Correct. You're not losing any trees unless you're processing them.
Sure.
And 5 of those 7 that I mentioned that are 6'3" or above, 5 of those 7 have at least 3 years of eligibility remaining. So I'm sorry, I don't want to hear, well, Oklahoma needs to recruit more size at wide receiver in the 2027 cycle. No, they don't. They don't. Right now, they do not need to recruit any more size at wide receiver, period. What they need to do is find guys that fit needs for that room.
Yeah.
And in the collective mind of that staff and front office. And Milan Green is the type of guy that when they look at him, the type of receiver that he is, his competitive nature, his ability to win at all 3 levels, and I would say what is probably a slot projection for a guy like that. That is somebody that fills the need that Oklahoma is looking to fill in the 2027 cycle.
Yeah, and it's really easy, by the way, for this to happen to anybody, but it kind of got lost on me until a couple of weeks ago when Ted and Tyler and I were talking about this, but the Megatron Julio Jones archetype and the success rate with those is not as high as you might think. So you look at like the top 4 wide receivers in the NFL right now, debatably you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. I think that's fair.
Sure.
CeeDee Lamb is the tallest at 6'1". The other 3, and I was very shocked to see Jettas is 6 foot because he looks 6'5" on TV.
I know,
but
man.
They're all 6 foot. So I'm starting to come around that the need for 6'2" and above wide receivers is an overblown stereotype. I think they're just fine. By the way, with these kids still being 17 years old, too, and possibly having another inch or 2 in the tank, I think they're just fine with some of these dudes. And I would have said the same about Trayvon Hall and Damari DeJean as well.
Oh, boy, here comes Doug. Doug in Norman says, Parker, you just named 7 wide receivers, the tall ones, who have contributed nothing to the Sooners' offense so far.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, I guess in a technical sense, that is true, Doug. I mean, you're right. Even Parker Livingston, who had a very productive year in Texas last year, hasn't produced in Oklahoma's offense. What do you want here? What's the solution? The solution is to recruit more guys that are 6'3" and above that haven't done, like, Oklahoma could recruit 5 more 6'3+ wide receivers, and next summer you'd be saying, well, you're talking about 12 wide receivers that have contributed nothing to the Sooners' offense so far. This is the nature of roster churn in college football. At a certain point, you have to place faith in production from guys that haven't done it yet, and it happens every single year. Maybe not all the guys Oklahoma's counting on to explode actually do explode, but there will be another Taylor Wine this season. There will be another Isaiah Satania this season. There will be another Torrey Blaylock this season. It happens every year.
Yeah, and like, I see the point. I do see where Doug's coming from here, but a lot of those guys that he just named, too, are either redshirt freshmen or true freshmen or in their second year in the program.
Indeed.
Yeah, like, you didn't name a bunch of veterans that are 6'3" and above. So I do think you got to give at least – they haven't even been given a chance yet. Some of them, just the circle of life hasn't allowed them a chance just yet to showcase an impact. So I'd pump the brakes on that just a little bit, even though I do see where you're coming from.
Esra Booman on the text line. Chiming in right on cue. Any updates on Daniel Yevitt's status with OU? Well, you are already anticipating what we're going to lead off the second segment with, Esra Booman. And we have much more to discuss over the course of the show. But let's start there. Oklahoma got a surprise camp visit yesterday from the top uncommitted prospect in the state of Oklahoma in the 2027 cycle. What does it mean moving forward? And will Oklahoma get involved with not only the highest-ranked uncommitted prospect within state lines, but a kid that they have not yet offered, despite being a top 150 player in the nation? All that and more coming up on the other side as we keep it rolling here on Locked In. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Stay right here.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
Right here in our backyard, sellers trust Purple Wave Auction to move their equipment, from excavators and ag equipment to trucks and specialty trailers. Our no-reserve online auctions help local sellers turn iron into opportunity. You get a dedicated territory manager who knows your operation, your market, and your timeline, backed by nationwide buyer demand, local service, national reach, real results. See why more sellers choose Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com to get started today.
They don't want to hire you because your paper might say Oklahoma School for the Blind.
I was just completely homebound because I was always too afraid to go outside. I want to be a productive member of society, and that's what DRS has given me.
They offer you opportunities to getting a job, helping you learn how to advocate for yourself, find the best way to try living your life in the fullest way possible.
Oklahoma and DRS has been the biggest blessing in my life.
See me.
And not my disability.
No one plans for an injury, but when the worst happens, count on the best orthopedic team to turn your setbacks into comebacks. Ortho Central's comprehensive care has you covered, from expert orthopedic surgery and sports medicine to in-house imaging, physical therapy, and even a bone health clinic. So whether it's a fracture, a tear, or just life catching up with you, we're here to get you moving again. Ortho Central, it's in our bones to take care of yours. Learn more at orthocentralok.com.
For 3 generations, the John M. Ireland and Son Funeral Home and Chapel in Morris continued to serve the community by giving back to local schools, charitable organizations, and first responders.
We provide pre-planning for funerals and cremation services at the most reasonable prices.
We are proud to be a family-owned and operated funeral home.
Award-winning funeral home year after year, our family believes in serving the people of our community.
I'm John Ireland.
And I'm Solon Daniels.
You've got our word on it.
No matter where you live, you care about one thing during bad weather: keeping your family and property safe. Scissortail Roofing and Construction is here to ensure just that. Whether it's damage from strong winds or a hailstorm, we will manage your residential or commercial project from start to finish. Call us today, 405-928-8089, or visit us online at scissortailroofing.com for a free estimate. Call Scissortail today, your trusted local roofing and construction company.
Hi, this is Peggy Doviak of DM Wealth Management, and we've been working with the residents of Norman for over 20 years as we help them solve questions about their cash flow, retirement savings, or tax planning. We also offer portfolio management solutions to help people meet their financial goals. We would love to help you plan your prosperity. Check us out at dmwealth.com.
Hi, everybody. Toby Rowland here for one of my favorite places to golf, the Trails Golf Club in Norman. The Trails offers great golf activities for the entire family. Men's and Ladies Golf Association events, summer junior golf for the kids, plus club fittings throughout the year. The Trails also has great family social events, monthly special dinners, plus holiday brunches and catering. When you're looking for the perfect place to golf, check out the Trails Golf Club in Norman. Contact Zane Alexander today at 405-364-3790 or visit trailsgolf.com.
From the bench to your defense. Tracy Schumacher, a former district judge, former Cleveland County prosecutor, and now your voice in a DUI fight. Your driver's license could be at risk. Time is critical. If you've been charged with DUI in Cleveland, McLean, Grady, or Garvin County, you need someone who knows how the system works. Schumacher Law Group at 405-701-1882 or visit lawgroupok.com. From the bench to your defense when experience matters.
Oh, here we go. I'm about to fight with people on the text line again.
I feel like that should be in our job description.
Yeah, it pretty much is at this point. 405-651-3439 if you want to fight with me on the text line, or if you just want to ask a question, make a comment, whatever. But CJ Sooner in Florida said, correction, this is the nature of roster churn under Emmett Jones. I know you like him, Parker, but he has been subpar at his job. By the way, when did Trell Harris become sub 6 foot? Okay, you're right, CJ Sooner. Trell Harris, I thought he was listed at 5'11". He is actually listed at 6 feet even. So, okay, yes, Trell Harris meets the criteria. He is 6 feet tall.
As somebody who has had his height inflated before for athletic reasons, a 6 foot even designation is not always a 6 foot even fact.
In technicality, CJ Sooner is correct on that account. Here's the thing, though, CJ Sooner. Like, I don't like Emmett Jones more than I like any other coach. I do, like, I'm in the media. I do my best to evaluate coaches and who they are as recruiters and developers of talent as accurately as possible. And that is why I so ardently defend Emmett Jones, because I think he gets a bad rap for far too many, what would the word be? Not incorrect reasons necessarily, but overblown reasons. 2024 sucked. It didn't matter who was coaching wide receivers at the University of Oklahoma. 2024 was going to suck because everyone was hurt. Emmett Jones, lest we forget, helped that Oklahoma wide receiver room improve drastically in 2023. I mean, he flipped that entire room on its head. Andrell Anthony was one of the best wide receivers in college football, period, for the first half of the season until he tore his ACL. Drake Stoops had his best year as a collegian by leaps and bounds. Nick Anderson's breakout campaign was sensational. Jaden Gibson was making plays. You go on down the list. Emmett Jones and all of those wide receivers, when we talked to them that year, credited Emmett Jones with helping them improve significantly as players. Jalil Farouk, another guy that produced for Oklahoma that season. But then 2024 rolls around. Everything sucks. Everyone is hurt. Zion Reagans is starting the Red River Shootout as a 5'8", 155-pound true freshman because there is no alternative. And everybody's taking Emmett Jones to task. I just think that's unfair. And with regard to 2025, you're going to say, well, he didn't develop Zion Kearney, or, well, he didn't develop Ivan Carion. This is just my perspective. You're not obligated to share it. You know what he did do? He turned a guy that was kind of just a guy at Arkansas in Isaiah Satania
into all SEC.
Into an all SEC, nearly 1,000-yard dude. And frankly, I don't care who's producing as long as somebody is producing at wide receiver.
We talked about this, I want to say maybe 6 months ago, but we've got to reshape how we view position coaches through the lens of development out of high school versus, okay, well, they came over in the transfer portal. And this has to take a more NFL style of approach where you just got to evaluate somebody by what they get out of your room, especially wide receiver in a position room that is so rife with turnover and can be easily turned over because there's such a volume of wide receiver talent out there in America. So the way I look at it is, sure, you can write off 2025 because Isaiah Satania was a guy that came over from Arkansas and so on and so forth. But the room produced.
The room did
produce.
produce.
The room produced. And I think going forward, we're going to have to do – are we going to do the same thing 12 months from now?
I hope not.
If Isaiah Satania is great and Parker Livingston is a good player and Trell Harris is a good player, are we going to be doing the same stuff again where we say, well, he didn't develop any of them?
Yeah, to me, the nature of
he
modern...
presided over the room. What are we supposed to have the man do?
Exactly. To me, the nature of modern college football is you get the guys there, regardless of how they get there.
Exactly.
You better get them producing. And not all of them are going to produce. You're going to roster like 12 to 15 scholarship wide receivers any given year, and maybe 3 or 4 of them will make a serious productive dent. But I don't care who those guys are.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to those who want to say...
And at the end of the day, neither does anybody else.
Yeah, and to those who want to say, well, I want to see Emmett Jones develop a talent that he recruits out of high school. Sure, I do too. His first class at Oklahoma, his first recruiting cycle, was the 2024 cycle. Those guys have played 2 years of college football. 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It is far too early to make many of the judgments that certain folks want to make about Emmett Jones. But again, that is merely my opinion. Perhaps I am an idiot.
Well, somebody on the YouTube chat just says, I hope Emmett Jones is gone 12 months from now, a la DeMarco Murray. That's a take.
You know, if that's the way you feel, you're certainly entitled to your opinion. Daniel Yevitt, Grayson, whom we've talked about on this show before, is the top uncommitted player in the state of Oklahoma for the 2027 cycle. He OV'd Minnesota a couple weekends ago. He will OV TCU this coming weekend. He is eyeing potential OVs with Oklahoma State, Missouri, and potentially Colorado. And yet, where was he 24 hours ago? He was on campus at the illustrious University of Oklahoma, doing anything in his power to pick up that offer from the University of Oklahoma. In fact, he was working out on both sides. Took reps at defensive back, took reps at wide receiver. He did not walk away with an offer as of yet. The conversations have started to pick up with the OU staff, and their interest is certainly peaked. But he was not offered yesterday. And I don't know if or when that offer is going to come, but I don't know how you feel about the kid. I think his camp performance yesterday and just his willingness to do whatever to try and get the opportunity to play at Oklahoma, that kind of validated it for me. With the current state of Oklahoma's board in the 2027 cycle, just Daniel Yevitt being the talented athlete that he is within state lines in Oklahoma's own backyard, I think this is a kid that they ought to pursue. And if they were to pursue him, they would almost assuredly pick up his commitment.
Yeah, and it would be an incredibly low-risk type of endeavor that they would go on because, again, wide receiver talent, there's a lot of it around here. But here's what I view Daniel Yevitt as. Number one, the picture that you posted of him. From yesterday to back when I called one of his games last year, he has put on a considerable amount of size.
He has, man.
That was the game you and I were both at when we had the lightning delay. But, he has put on a very impressive amount of size. I have to give him a lot of credit for that. And because of that, and he is an athlete, and he is an excellent wide receiver, or potentially DB as well, I don't think you want to run the risk of seeing that dude down the line and him potentially having a chip on his shoulder and cooking you in whether it's a bowl game or maybe he ends up in the SEC somewhere and you have to play him in a regular season game. If it were me, I would throw him the offer. You lost 2 guys over the weekend. It looks like you're in a decent spot with Milan Green. But what we've seen with wide receiver, not just this year, but in last year's cycle, is there's a hell of a lot of drama when it comes to these wide receiver recruitments. And I think if you can get a guy like Green, who there's likely not going to be a whole lot of theatrics around, Daniel Yevitt, I would expect pretty much the same as well. Take a flyer on him. I'd say take a flyer on him. Get him in the building. He wants to be here. He's from UConn, right up the road. I would throw him the offer just for that purpose. You're stock deep at wide receiver, so you don't need him to contribute in 2 years. That's why I would do it.
I'm not even necessarily married to the idea of Yevitt playing one specific position. I think you just take him and figure it out later.
Sure.
You know, like see what that senior tape looks like.
I agree with that.
Just kind of get a sense of where he's displaying more aptitude, which side of the ball he seems more inclined to make an early impact at the collegiate level. And then thereafter, you know, you get him to campus, run him through drills, kind of get him familiar with the scheme on one side of the ball or the other. And, you know, if you need to alter the direction, alter the game plan as far as his developmental trajectory down the line, you can certainly do that. But I think he's an exceptional overall athlete for whom there should be a spot in OU's class. But the counter argument to that, and it's something that, you know, it's an assessment that I believe Todd Bates initially made. I don't necessarily want to credit him with the initial or the very first articulation of this reality, but you miss out on a guy or you don't offer a guy and he winds up going somewhere else, he may beat you once a year. You take a guy and he doesn't pan out, he's going to contribute to beating you every single day. Now, I will say I don't worry about that with Daniel Yevitt. I don't worry about that with any guy that's a top 150 player in the nation and in the middle of OV season and decides to show up in camp and play multiple positions just because he wants an offer from Oklahoma that badly.
Okay, so let me ask you this, too. I know Oklahoma doesn't go based on the rankings and stuff like that, but you did just drop that. Like, top 150 player.
Mm-hmm. And maybe
I know you don't want to be beholden to the industry rankings. I get that. But I feel like now would be one of those ones where you take a flyer on it. And take a flyer on a 100 on a top 150 player sounds like an oxymoron, number one.
Well, and here's maybe what an alternate plan of attack for Oklahoma could be. Maybe this kind of factors into OU's calculus, is that they understand, like if this kid's showing up to camp, trying to earn the offer on June 9th of his rising senior summer, then you probably don't have to offer him now. You know, you can let him commit to TCU or wherever, and then if things look a certain way on that first 4 games tape,
sure,
this fall, then you make your move and you'll have a shot. Who knows? But that's a kid that I hope winds up signing with Oklahoma because I think he would provide a lot of value to the institution. There was no Trey Wright cameo appearance at Oklahoma's camp yesterday. As I understand it, the 3-star quarterback at a Lone Star High School down in Frisco had a death in the family, so he was unable to make it up to camp. So obviously, thoughts, prayers with him and his folks. I do think, though, you know, just from a business standpoint, in my opinion, and that's all it is here, but in my opinion, with how quickly things are progressing with other quarterback targets for Oklahoma in the 2028 cycle, that probably forecloses the path to Trey Wright being Oklahoma's guy in 28. Because Oklahoma made an outstanding impression on Trey Taliaferri from New Jersey last week when he visited. Brady Quinn's coming to campus next Monday. Gavin Strang camped. Graham Simpson took an unofficial last week. So by this time next week, Oklahoma will have had 4 of their 5 2028 quarterback offers on campus within the first half of the month of June. And I think one of those guys is going to be ready to make a decision in the not-too-distant future, and I think Oklahoma is going to be ready to take a commitment from one of those guys in the not-too-distant future. So Trey Wright's a really good player. I'll be really interested to see where he lands. Given that he was not able to make it up to camp yesterday, though, I don't think it's going to be Oklahoma.
But it will be somewhere.
Maybe he reschedules. Maybe he gets up to campus for an unofficial visit here in the coming days. But I think Oklahoma leaving Brady Quinn's visit for last was a very strategic, very calculated move. The more and more I think about it, Brady Quinn being the last of those 5 to get to campus, what that tells me is, and this is just kind of my impression as well from talking to a variety of different people involved in the process, I think Brady Quinn is kind of Oklahoma's number 1.
Seems to be the indication, huh?
Now, I don't think they would have any qualms with the guy being Taliaferri or Graham Simpson or even Gavin Strang or Trey Wright for that matter, but I think Brady Quinn is kind of where the slight preference is right now.
Sure.
That's the impression that I get. Recruiting Boomer asked Parker, are we not recruiting the kid from Norman North at quarterback? That would be Nash Henry. No, Oklahoma's not recruiting him. I mean, they're maintaining a relationship with him, obviously, but they haven't offered him. I've said before, I don't think that kid's going to wind up getting an OU offer. He continues to pick up offers, just picked one up from Baylor the other day, so that's a kid that's going P4. I don't think he's going to be going P4 with Oklahoma, though. That's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Texter in the 405 says, Grayson, is the lightning delay game also the game where you were hotboxed by the attractive female? That would be correct.
Yes, indeed.
That did happen.
What an experience that was, man. We sat there for like 3 hours.
Jeez.
We sat there forever, man.
That was a lot.
That was a late night.
Sure was. What time did you get back? Do you remember?
Like over the 1:30 a.m.
Yeah,
it was late. And Oklahoma, I mean, there were 3 guys on the field for Norman North that night that had OU offers at one time or another. One of them signed at Washington, one of them signed at Cal, and the other one's committed to Stanford. What is it with Norman North and the West Coast, man? Crazy stuff.
I mean, granted, though, Mason James kind of fits on the West Coast. Like, I can see it.
How so?
He seems like a dude that could thrive on the West Coast.
Okay. I won't force you to elaborate. 405-651-3439. That's the First Liberty Bank text line. One final segment to come here on Locked In. It will be a jam-packed one. Keep it right here.
This is your home for Sooner fans. The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Born in the early days of Oklahoma craft beer, Coupe Ale Works F5 is the #1 selling IPA in the state. Named after the unique weather of our Great Plains, this West Coast-style IPA packs a hop-reckoning punch that'll blow your taste buds away. Available statewide at retailers near you.
Hey, Sooner fans, we've got you covered. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
No, we don't get a break.
This is the home of Sooner fans.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Good times are calling your name at the Showplace Theater with acts like Dave Attell, August 14th.
Hey, when I go over to someone's house and they got that air freshener smell, who are you fooling?
Diamond Rio, August 28th.
We meet in the middle, beat that up, Georgia pine.
And Gabriel Iglesias, September 18th.
What if someone tries to kidnap you? Well, they're going to earn it.
Riverwind is OKC's favorite casino experience.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
For over 30 years, CertaPro Painters has been part of countless memories. Every wall tells a story, and we've been proud to help write them. We are more than just your local painters, with care, craftsmanship, and certainty. From the first brushstroke to the final smile, our promise is simple. Your home, beautifully painted and worry-free. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Say good morning with the Little Heats. El Huevo and Norman is serving Tex-Mex inspired breakfast and brunch every day until 2. Tacos, huevos rancheros, spicy skillets, and more, plus a full bar to start your day bold.
El Huevo off of Tecumseh Road, where every morning feels like a fiesta. El Huevo, breakfast with a kick. Tune in every Friday to hear more about the Hal Smith Restaurant Group during The Rush and the Dari Noka Show here on The Ref.
Hey guys, this is Lisa Towie, owner and broker of 828 Real Estate. 828 Real Estate is your premier full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage and property management firm. With our team of real estate agents and specialized property management team, 828 is here for you in every capacity. Whether a seller or buyer, an investor or renter, please explore our website at 828re.com. 828 Real Estate, service with purpose. 405-701-8881. Call us today.
Aging well means staying healthy, active, and independent. To age well, we need to take care of our bones. 10 million Americans have osteoporosis, a hereditary disease that makes bones weak and more likely to break. Thankfully, we can all take simple steps to improve our bone health at any age. Eat a healthy diet that is rich in calcium and vitamin D. Get regular weight-bearing exercise, which means on our feet. Get bone health tips at pathtogoodbonehealth.org.
Your child is sick. With those 4 words, the innocence and joy of childhood disappears. But Starlight has taught us 4 other words that make all the difference. The power of play. Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Here we go again. CJ Sooner in Florida, more Emmett Jones text. Emmett Jones has been here 3+ years and has not produced one high school recruit. You guys have got to relax. Everything is not a shot at you, LOL. I didn't take it as such, CJ Sooner. But if you have a bad take, if you have an opinion that I don't think makes any sense, I'm going to let you know that I don't think your opinion makes any sense. And again, I don't think it does with Emmett Jones, especially because his first cycle at Oklahoma was the 2024 cycle, of which those guys have played 2 seasons of college football, and also half his class were Jeff Lebby specials in KJ Daniels and Zion Reagans. Those were guys that were tailor-made for Jeff Lebby's offense, and then Jeff Lebby left.
Now, I will say this, too. It is a little alarming that none of them remain on the roster.
Ivan Carrion.
Oh, except Carrion, yes. So, I mean, and let's be real. Are we expecting much from Carrion this year?
Yeah, I'm hopeful. We'll see. This year, maybe not.
Yeah.
But I hope the kid redshirts, actually, because I think Oklahoma has stacked that wide receiver room up via the portal to such an extent that there's probably not going to be a whole lot there for Carrion in terms of opportunities. But I am just so intrigued by his skill set and his size, man, that I think he can do something. I think he ought to just play 4 games this fall, take a red shirt, and hopefully contend for a much greater share of the snaps in the following season.
We have a question on the YouTube chat.
Yeah, what do we got?
Fast. Lucas asks, Grayson, can you ask Parker his thoughts on Case Alexander right now?
I think Case Alexander and Oklahoma could much more realistically wind up a match than I did a month ago. And he took his Penn State official visit over the weekend. He did
not commit.
He's coming to OU this weekend. It'll be his last visit before he makes a decision. And, man, at a certain point, if it hasn't happened yet, why not? Why hasn't it happened? And I say that in reference to what many have long considered to be his imminent commitment to Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there have been times where it's felt very close, like Alexander is on the verge of just locking in with Penn State. If it hasn't happened yet, why not? Now, would I project him into the class right now? Probably not. I'm not there just yet. Got to see how the visit goes this weekend. But Oklahoma, don't get it twisted, they have closed the gap with Penn State. Have they closed it enough to be able to vault past the Nittany Lions on the OV this weekend? They have a chance. They have given themselves a chance. We'll see how this goes. This is fun, man. This is an old school recruiting battle. Two of the premier brands in college football going back and forth, mano a mano, for a blue chip prospect who is very clearly torn between the two and isn't at all sure where he wants to play his college football. This is the good stuff right here. This is what you live for. This is what makes recruiting exciting.
Do you know, and have you gotten any intel on how the Penn State visit went?
I mean, I'm under the impression from talking to sources on both sides that it went well, but not well enough that that Penn State doesn't have to worry about Oklahoma flying past them in the race for Case Alexander's commitment this weekend when the Sooners get him on campus. There is still some very real potential that this thing does come together between Case Alexander and Oklahoma. It's nothing more than potential right now, but if this OV this weekend goes a certain way, man, the Sooners may just pull off the upset, which is crazy to say when you're talking about a kid that's 20 minutes down the road, and the other school in the picture is a school that's 1,500 miles away. But it would be an upset if Oklahoma were to turn the tables late in the process and get it done with Case Alexander. One kid that I do think they will get it done with this weekend is Jackson Lawler, the 3-star offensive lineman out of Bushland High School in Amarillo, Texas. Picked up an offer last week at camp, was initially told by Oklahoma, hey, let's table this thing until the fall. We'll get you on a fall OV. Well, things changed in a very real way over the weekend because Oklahoma called Jackson Lawler back and said, hey, get here June 12th for the OV. We want you in the class ASAP. Lifelong OU fan here. I mean, he was very emotional when he got this offer. It means a lot to him. I have every expectation that Jackson Lawler is going to wind up in Oklahoma's class right now. And that should not take more than another few days. By this time next week, I would be shocked if we're not talking about Oklahoma commit Jackson Lawler. Oklahoma State, Wake Forest in the picture, but I mean, when Oklahoma's going up against those two programs, there's not a lot to worry about.
What changed Oklahoma's mind?
So the impression that I get is that, and I don't want to insinuate or portray it as though it's over here between Oklahoma and the other individual whom I'm about to mention. But Michigan State made a ton of headway over the weekend when they hosted Corey Laga for an OV. And so with the Spartans starting to trend there, I think Oklahoma kind of figured, all right, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Let's just get Jackson Lawler. Let's just get him on board. And they're still fighting the battle for Laga. Oklahoma's going to take 7 offensive linemen if they can take 7. They're still hoping to add Laga. They still feel as though they've got a shot with Laga. They understand that Michigan State is kind of the I shouldn't even call them the shiny new thing because they've been after Laga for a lot longer than Oklahoma has. But Michigan State has the buzz right now. Oklahoma's hopeful to be able to counter it and eventually get Laga committed. They will take 7 offensive linemen in the class if they can get 7.
And Brian Swanson, definitely not happening.
Not happening. Not happening. In fact, SMU right now has a better chance to upset Texas.
And that's what I insinuated on my podcast a couple days ago is that's an SMU Texas thing now.
Yes. Oklahoma, not happening. I think that also I think the offer, not necessarily the offer to Lawler, but the call back to Lawler and getting him on the slate for that June 12th through 14th official visit weekend, that was the official white flag with Brian Swanson. That was Oklahoma saying, okay, we're not getting
and
this
when you said the individual that you were about to reference, I thought you were about to say Swanson and not Laga.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. That's where I thought you were going.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a big offensive line class, the biggest in recent memory for Oklahoma. However it shakes out, but I expect Lawler to be the sixth man in that equation, and who knows, Laga could be the seventh if Oklahoma can roll with the punches and counteract the momentum that Michigan State picked up over the weekend. Jaden Fields was at Oklahoma yesterday.
Yeah.
How about that? Just showed up.
He was at SMU last weekend, too.
Yeah, OV to SMU. He's going to OV to OU starting Thursday.
Yep.
He'll be right back up here for his official visit.
Mm-hmm.
But his younger brother camped at Oklahoma yesterday, and as I understood it, he just kind of tagged along, wanted to surprise the OU staff, didn't want them to know he was coming, but just want to show up and hang with them for an afternoon, which is exactly what happened. And I think that, if nothing else, makes you feel a little bit better about where Oklahoma stands with the three-star athlete out of Hutto, Texas, whom they like at safety. Would I call Oklahoma the leader right now? No, probably not.
Is that still Texas A&M?
But I would say, yeah, it's still Texas A&M having that holds the edge there. But it does say a lot that he would waste a day, if you will. And it's not a waste, but he would spend an entire day after school ends, and the summer's all his, and it's kind of his last summer to be a kid. And yet he's tagging along with his younger brother to come spend time around the staff at Oklahoma, where he's going to be in another 36 hours. Gideon Gash committed to Texas Tech over the weekend.
That was the biggest surprise when I was on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Tech got it done, man. Now, Oklahoma is not going to concede the fight. I am obligated to say that. They are going to continue swinging at Gideon Gash for as long as they possibly can because they really want Gideon Gash. However, going up against Texas Tech for a high-dollar prospect is kind of like you or I stepping into the octagon with Conor McGregor.
Not a winning proposition.
Not a winning proposition. But even so, Oklahoma's going to continue to try and chip away at Gideon Gash. I am told they no longer expect him in town this weekend for his official visit. That was still a possibility even after the Tech commitment, but they're going to hope. They're going to kind of try and, I guess, target an in-season official visit potentially. They're going to try and get him back to campus sometime in the fall for an official visit, if that's something he's down for, but he's not going to be in town this weekend for his OV at Oklahoma, and I think you just have to keep expectations heavily tempered from here on out because Texas Tech is not going to lose a kid like this without one whale of a fight.
And that fight would be very high dollar. So the stuff with – I know I texted you about this yesterday, but the developments with Brendan Sorsby and the fact that Texas Tech is now the most hated program in all of college athletics doesn't have an effect here.
He doesn't seem to care.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I mean, granted, this thing will blow over once Brendan Sorsby's college career is done.
Yes, it will, no question. Well, to an extent. I think Tech will still have a bit of a tarnished reputation in many folks' minds. But make no mistake, this kind of goes without saying. Texas Tech is prepared to pay Gideon Gash a lot of money.
As they should,
to
man.
be a Red Raider.
As they should. Are they going to have him play safety?
He's going to start at corner for them.
Really?
Yep. That's where they're going to start him out.
Interesting.
Yep. So Oklahoma would love to flip the kid.
Huh.
Is it going to happen just because you write a larger check than Texas Tech? No. It's going to have to be a bit more nuanced, a little bit more of a robust pitch than that. But the Sooners will continue to try and make something happen. I emphasize the word try there because I am not convinced that anything can or will happen that won't immediately be countered by Texas Tech. Last thing here before we wrap. We mentioned it was probably coming after he announced the upcoming shoulder surgery. Or I guess that he had the surgery last week, but Cooper Hackett's ranking did tank this morning.
Yeah, it did.
At 24/7 Sports, all the way down to number 115 in the country. Yeah. Outside the top 100.
Wait, okay,
with
so
the news of the shoulder surgery.
So I saw the Rivals one where he dropped to 32.
In the consensus, in the industry composite rankings, he is still the last 5-star there.
Right. He dropped to 114 on 24/7.
115.
115.
They have him at 115. Yep. And so just prepare yourselves
Holy
accordingly,
smokes.
folks. Like that's probably a harbinger of things to come with Cooper Hackett. His ranking is going to be affected by the fact that surgery is going to keep him out for his entire season.
But by that much, that's shocking.
I know. I'm surprised it happened as fast as it did. However, alongside that, at least for the folks at 24/7, Gabe Osborne is now a 5-star and Caden Penny is now a 5-star. So they elevated those guys. They sunk Cooper Hackett way low in their rankings update, though. So it giveth, it taketh away. That is the entire rankings game. We will have another jam-packed show on deck for you tomorrow. The Rush is coming up next here on The Ref. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. That's it for Locked In. Take it easy.